Hello. This is the knowledge graph that we have just created from Snowflake. So now the question is, how do we actually change it? How do we work on that knowledge graph? The first thing we should always do is to see that we are in the main branch. All the viewers, they will live and ask their questions towards the main branch of our knowledge graph. So what we can do is we create a new branch, give it a proper name. This is where we work. And once we are done with our work, we push that in Git style to the main branch. So now what we can do is use Veezoo to change our knowledge graph. So on one side, here at the top, there is a button for optimizing the knowledge graph. And then Veezoo runs on a best practice schema, looks through the knowledge graph, finds things that it can do better. But same thing we could just do by asking a question. So we could say, look through the knowledge graph and put in descriptions, synonyms, and hide ID or technical fields. Because within the knowledge graph, we do see, for example, a country ID, something that we don't really need. At least not viewers do not need to see that. There's a customer ID. There are order lines where we have elements in that are not really helpful for the business to understand, or like a product ID, for example. So what Veezoo does now is it looks through all the different files that the knowledge graph is compiled of, and then changes the knowledge graph, but asking me what to change, or rather, if to confirm the change. So currently, for example, here it does look at the channel class and it finds synonyms to add in the description. And it asks me, do you want to do that? And I say, confirmed, that is what I want. Same here with countries, for example. You also can see that there is hidden true for the country ID, so we won't see that in the knowledge graph afterwards. Depending on the size of your knowledge graph, depending on the question you're asking, this can be quite tedious. So therefore, what we can do in the lower part, creator tools, we could auto apply knowledge graph changes. And then we wouldn't need to press the confirm button anymore. This only works in your own branch, not in main. So in main, we always have to confirm when we change something. And also, best practice would be to only use that for really repetitive tasks, where small changes are done on a very frequent basis. Otherwise, you should always check what is actually happening and what the AI is doing to your knowledge graph. All right, so let's confirm the last couple of bits here. And with that, we can have a quick look into the new knowledge graph. And you can see that we don't have these ID fields anymore, but we have proper descriptions, more synonyms, for example. And therefore, we already have a cleaner knowledge graph, a better knowledge graph that will answer our questions better. One thing to note here, sometimes we don't really know, for example, how relationship between two tables, or rather between two business concepts work. Then it would be quite cool if we could not only look at the knowledge graph and files, but also in the database. The other creator tool here is SQL Access. Admins can give this tool to creators. Viewers don't have that. And this tool allows Veezoo to write queries directly against the database to verify a couple of things. For example, to look at specific column to really identify what the interiors and the attributes of this column are, or to look for relationships between two tables, for example. This is really helpful when creating a knowledge graph and allowing Veezoo to ask questions towards the data to make better decisions. All right, see you in the next one.